Hello there. I've gathered some ingredients because I have the idea that with my cup of coffee, it might be kind of nice to have a muffin. And I'm going to make a healthy green banana muffin. I'm going to make 12 of them. I'm going to be able to keep them in my refrigerator and pull them out in the morning with another nice cup of coffee and not have to do the cooking. So I've turned the oven on to 350. It's warming up, and let's get this stuff mixed up. Yeah, a lot of folks aren't really happy when they see a banana that looks so ripe. I like to make breads out of them because they get very sweet. And so don't be afraid to use a really ripe banana. They are fabulously wonderful for baking. Don't do a lot of baking, but when I do baking, I like to do healthy baking. So this recipe today is going to have some protein powder in it and some greens, or chocolate green booster. I'm also going to chop some nuts. We're going to mash these bananas up. I already have another banana in here that's very ripe, and we'll be mashing these up and get them really soft and pasty looking. And while that's happening, we're also going to chop these little nuts. And since I like gadgets, a lot of people don't like gadgets, but I do use my gadgets. And this one is a Pampered Chef chopper. I've had it for years and it works wonderfully. And then I'll be able to take these beautiful nuts and put them in my baking bowl in just a minute. Take the nuts and put them in a little bowl for the last thing we're going to put in our batter. Get them out of the way. And we also want to make sure you prepare your baking tins because we like easy cleanup, and these little paper liners make for a wonderful easy cleanup after you make your muffins. We've got our bananas mashed up in the bowl, and now we're just going to start adding things like milk. And I found toasted coconut almond milk, which I think will be very nice in this. We're going to use a half cup of that. There's about a half cup. Let's see. Make sure. Yep, half cup. Half cup of that almond milk. You could probably use any of your nut milks. Of course, you know, soy milk will have more protein in it. If you're looking for an extra boost, you might want to use protein, soy milk. But we're going to be adding protein. These are going to have about 16 grams of soy protein in them. We're going to add some vanilla, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have friends that make their own. I'm hoping to do that one day soon, but I haven't gotten that accomplished yet. Maybe I'll do a section on making your own extracts. Could be fun. Then we're going to crack some eggs. I always like to crack my eggs in a separate bowl because you never know what's inside of an egg. Sometimes you find a surprise. And yes, we're going to compost those banana peels, and we're going to compost the eggshells because that calcium can go back into our soils and feed microbes. I could have whipped up that egg in the bowl here before I put it in. You can do it either way. Some people like to use a mixer. I think you've noticed that I'm kind of fast and dirty in my kitchen cooking, and I don't mean dirty. That's a bad choice of words. So I'm very clean in my kitchen. Wash my hands, I keep my counters clean, keep my bowls clean. All right, so we've got the vanilla, and we've got the eggs, and we've got the milk. So now we can put in some of our greens booster. This is the concentrated greens. You get one serving of greens in one of these little scoops like this. So we can put in one, and we're going to get a second serving. So if you don't like to eat your greens, or you don't have an opportunity to eat your greens every day, this is one way you can work them into your schedule. If your children are not crazy about greens, you can also sort of sneak them in on those kids and see what they think. I'm going to change from a fork to a spoon. We're going to add 2 cups of organic oats, and I've told you before I like to use my protein canisters as storage, so when I get my organic oats, I'll just store them in the canister here, and they're easy to get to. So we've got that, and then we're going to add the protein. have this simple little packet. Our Shaklee proteins come in a single serve, so if you need to grab and run, you can do that. And we're looking to get a half cup of the protein in this little packet here. Should have exactly a half cup in it. Yep, it does. So that's a convenient way to do it. A more economical way to do it is to buy the canister of the protein, and you get a little better value. But for convenience, these little packets are wonderful. And then what we're going to do is just stir all this up. Put that up in there. Make us a batter. I'll finish that up and then add the nuts. I guess I want to do that. And the sugar. Oh yeah, we want to add, oh, forgot to tell you about this. I didn't have this in the original ingredients, but we're going to use a 1/4 cup of raw sugar in here. And we're going to use a tablespoon of our organic coconut oil. So we'll put the coconut oil in there, and we'll put the sugar in there. And then we'll have everything that we're supposed to have in here. This is a very forgiving batter. It is going to make a dense muffin, and that can be very nice with some fruit in the morning, some fresh blueberries or the strawberries that are coming in, with one of these little muffins in your coffee or whatever hot beverage you like in the morning to get you going. All right, so I'll mix this up and then we'll start putting them in the muffin tin. I was a little absent-minded and forgot to put the baking powder in there. I needed a teaspoon of baking powder, so I've got that in there. I've added the nuts. I've twisted them around, and now we'll just load up this tin, and we take about a tablespoon, go around and put spoonful in each of these little cups, and then we can come back and top them off. But I always like to put one in each to start with. See how easy this is? We'll just fill those up and see how they look on the other side. While the muffins are cooking, of course, now it's time to deal with our dirty dishes and our compost. So I'll be taking the compost down to the compost pile, and we'll talk about that because I've invited a friend of mine who knows a lot more about composting than I do to join me in an episode about helping you guys see what we do for composting in our homes. But I want to remind you that we have these wonderful Shaklee products to clean your dishes. This is our dishwasher powder. There are 48 loads in here. It's going to treat the environment the way we want to treat the environment. And if you want to hand wash your dishes, of course, you can use our Shaklee wonderful liquid hand dishwash. It treats your hands well, and have a wonderful time cleaning up, because then you can sit down and have either a morning cup of coffee or an afternoon coffee and muffin, get a protein lift, and get some energy. The beeper's going off. It's time to check on these. We'll turn the timer off. Open the oven. See how they're looking. I think they're ready. Let's take them out and enjoy them and let them cool on a rack on top of the oven that's all ready for them. And then we'll serve them up in just a minute. Oh boy, I think this is looking good. I've got my green banana muffin full of protein, energizing protein, and my Shaklee Greens booster. My Shaklee Life Shake is the foundation for this. I'm going to serve it with some fresh fruit, have a nice cup of coffee, take my daily vitalizer strip right here, and I'm going to have a nice treat. I wish you could smell it. I wish you could taste it. And my kitchen's clean and my compost bin is empty. I'm ready for a nice treat. Had fun cooking with you today. Check in for another episode, and don't forget to subscribe if you like these little videos.